In the last episode, walking around Prague, we went to some of those hidden gems outside of the main city centre that less tourists go to. But today, yes, we are starting in the main market square and we are going to the touristy destinations. However, there is a twist because I'm going to tell you about some of the stories behind each of these locations and the history as well. So if you are here for me just to say, wow, then go watch some other vlog that's all they do. We're going to delve deep and we're going to start with some stories of the main market square. The market square originates from the 12th century, where it was a bustling marketplace for merchants all over Europe. But it also has some of the most defining moments in Prague's history. In 1620, after the Battle of the White Mountain, the Habsburgs took control of Prague. And in 1621, they wanted to make an example of those who opposed them. So they executed 27 noblemen outside the town hall in front of a horrified crowd. 16 of those noblemen were beheaded and 11 were executed. These are represented by the crosses outside the town hall. I have triple counted these. There are actually 28 crosses. So I had to do my research, and that's because Dr. Yesenius, he was actually tortured before he was killed, and that's why there is 28 instead of 27. So while everyone was watching the clock strike the hour and watching the display, here's something for you. In 1410, Hanush created this astronomical clock, the first in the world, and it is very, very impressive. But the leaders at the time were so scared he was going to create another better clock elsewhere that they actually blinded him. So, to take revenge, he threw himself into the gears and is said to have cursed the clock. If it ever stopped working, Prague would have disaster. Behind me is the Church of Our Lady Before Tin, the Gothic guardian of Prague, which has looked over the city for centuries. Now, I could go into more detail, but I just want to point out one thing, and that is, as you can see, the two towers are actually different sizes, one bigger than the other. Now, it could be the fact that it symbolises the difference between men and women, or simply it was a mistake that was never rectified after being built. But that is what I love about discovering these different facts or myths. You don't know where history has been blurred. The market square has seen revolutions, celebrations, tragedies. This is more than just a tourist destination. This is the soul of Prague. And while the astronomical clock is ticking, these will never be forgotten. Here's something I've learned from the Honest Guide YouTube channel. Now, the chimney cake, it is not traditional to Czechia. This is actually a Hungarian sweet snack, and it's not that amazing. But tourists, you'll see, everyone seems to be eating these. There are so many of these shops selling it, but you can get better desserts elsewhere. Well, here we are at the Charles Bridge, and we know exactly when the founding stone was placed. The 9th of July, 1357, at 5:31 in the morning. And you ask, how do you know that? Well, it is because Charles IV was very superstitious. He believed in numerology and astrology, and the sequence 1, 3, 579-7531 represented those dates and times and symbolised strength. And the bridge has been here for over 650 years, so maybe he was right. A strange technique was used during the construction of the Charles Bridge. It was said that egg yolks were used in the mortar to make the bridge stronger. So all around the kingdom, eggs were brought to Prague for the construction. However, some messages were mixed up and some people brought actual hard-boiled eggs, which obviously didn't work. Do you remember when I was talking about those noblemen that were executed? Well, 12 of those heads were hanging from the tower at the start of the bridge, just to put off those rebels from causing any more trouble. So behind me is the most famous statue on the bridge. It is the only bronze statue of St. John of Nepomuc. Now, people will know him as the patron saint of bridges and flooding, and he is there to protect cities from these disasters. Why is he here though? Well, because in 1393, he was tortured and drowned after being thrown off the Charles Bridge by King Wenceslas IV. Why though? Why was he killed and thrown off the bridge? It was because he was said to be the confessor of Queen Sophia, and he would not tell the secrets to the king. So what you'll find here is people decide to touch the lady and the dog, but I'm going to guess most don't know why. Well, the dog is for good luck, and the lady is to get you to come back to Prague, but they don't know why they're touching it. It's all for show and because they've seen other people do it. One of the stories of the bridge is about the Templar Knight. He was executed near the bridge, and if you come here at night, you may see his headless body roaming on the bridge trying to find his head. So it's lunchtime and I've come to Rusel. First of all, cider. This is my first cider in Czechia, and it is from the Czech. Cider Magnet Apple. Let's give that a try first. Ooh. Now I am known for liking my ciders. In most of my videos, I do tend to be drinking cider. That is kind of dry and sweet at the same time. You could say it's a medium, but it has that juiciness of the apples, but then the scrumpiness on it as well. Very good. The lovely waitress recommended two things. That was celery soup, which I have here. I'm going to try that. And the other thing was a camembert, but I'm not really a fan of camembert, so I've gone for some kielbasa sausage style food that will come soon. So, celery soup. Let's give it a try. It was creamy. I didn't think I'd like celery soup. Celery doesn't really taste of anything. This is... let's try again. You can taste the celery. It's really, really creamy, which is a great start, real smooth. It tastes earthy as well. That is bloody good soup. I think there's some orange zest in it as well, or the taste of orange, and some onions on top. And now for the mains, so sausage, kielbasa, some bread, orgorki, or gherkins. I love gherkins. I don't know what that sauce is. Let's try what the sauce is. Hang on, it's dunk. I have no idea what the sauce is. It's sort of like a mayonnaise, but don't know if it is. Bread. Decent bread. Gherkins. Crunchy. Juicy. A good start. And to finish off my lunch, cherry pie. Well, sorry to interrupt this scheduled broadcast, but I got to the top of the stairs, got my drone up and brought it down, and I've been taken to the police station. So I'm going to tell you the quick story of what happened. Now, as always, I check before entering the country I can take a drone. First thing I always do. So when I was in Morocco, I did not take my drone because it clearly states you will not be allowed a drone through the airport security. Okay, fine. Check Prague. You're fine. Okay, you can take your drone. Okay, great. Now, DJI has what is normally a really cool system that you can take off, fine, okay. But if you're not able to take off, maybe you're too close to an airport, you cannot take off. It will not let you. If there is a restricted-ish area, restricted zone, then you have to apply for authorization. You put your phone number in, you get a text message to your phone, and you declare. You put your number in and everything, and then it gives you authorization. So I was up by Prague Castle, and it gave me authorization. So obviously I took it up, I kept it away from people. I didn't fly over 120 meters because you've got to be under that with the under 250 gram drones. And as soon as I brought it down, police. And obviously there's sensors obviously in the drone, and sensors around as well. I got pulled over. So what's actually happened is I pled my case. I said at the end of the day, I did what I thought was mitigating factors. I did what I thought was the right thing. I checked. I got authorization by the DJI app, which I think is linked with the civil authority, a civil aviation authority. That's the one. And yeah, so I said I'd done what I could to try and be within the laws, and no, they have confiscated my drone with the memory card and the remote as well. They're gonna obviously give it to the CAA, and I will, might get a fine of 10,000 Czech, whatever their currency is, which is about £333. But I've got mitigating factors, surely. But what really annoyed me, I stayed calm because there's no point in getting angry and annoyed. The police officer in there, who told the police officers in the car to bring me to the station, he basically said he is aware that there is an issue with flying DJI drones around the castle, and basically I'm not the first, and I will not be the last with a DJI drone that gets basically pulled in. There's no signs that say no fly either. So those are the mitigating factors. And now I've got to walk back to the car. They didn't even give me a lift back. So anyway, back to the castle, and welcome to the 70,000 metre squared Prague Castle complex, all the way back from 870 AD. This housed Czech kings, Roman emperors, and now currently the President of Czech Republic. Behind me is St. Vitus Cathedral, the heart of the Polish castle. Now, it was started to be constructed in 1344, and it took nearly 600 years to finish construction. Now, that took it to 1929. That is a long time. I'm trying to think how long it's taking Gaudi's cathedral in Barcelona to be constructed, but 600 years, man, that is a long time. But inside is where kings are buried and the Prague royal crown jewels are. So behind me is the Christ on Judgment Day, the golden arches here, the mosaic that has stood the test of time, and it is one of the oldest mosaics in Europe today. Well, I would say there is actually one positive from being taken by the police and having my drone confiscated, is that the time I've come back, sun has set, and now the cathedral is lit up, the buildings behind are lit up, so it's actually quite a nice effect if I'm trying to find some sort of positive out of it. But it is very nice out here. It is large, it's really spacious, and there are some more stories that I've got to tell you about. So the middle panel behind shows Christ there with 6 of the Bohemian saints. On the left, it's got the blessed going to heaven, and on the right, the damned going to hell. However, God forgives all, so no one goes to hell, really, do they? Behind me is Vladislav Hall. Now, I can't see too much because it's closed. However, I'm going to tell you, it was built and finished in 1502, and it was the largest secular, non-religious hall of its time in Europe. It was used for banquets, jousting, celebrations, royal engagements, political engagements. Now, they even installed stairs that are adapted for getting horses in and out. Now, horses are not known for going upstairs. Is that right? Or is that cows? Either way, it was adapted. That's pretty cool. It's now mainly used for inaugurations and political events. The Vladislav Hall is not only where good things happened, because in 1618, Protestant nobles threw out 2 Catholic officials from one of these windows, and that started the 30-Year War, which was one of the most destructive in Europe at the time. Well, that's my time up in Prague, and as you have seen, there are some incredible stories around the city, things that when you come as a tourist, you may not look at, but hopefully I've shared some with you today. Looking down at the astronomical clock, all the way up to the castle, there has been good things and some bad things that have taken place, but I hope you've all enjoyed coming along with me. If you have, and you enjoy the journeys, let me know in the comments where I should go next. Make sure you like and subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you next time.